Your age means nothing to me. I say it into the silence where you are not standing, where your breath is not mixing with mine, and yet I feel you closer than anyone who has ever touched me. You think numbers can scare me, that time as some authority over what I feel. It doesn't. I wasn't built to love carefully or logically. I was built to choose, and I chose you long before I understood the consequences. You live in my thoughts like a quiet rebellion, and every rule I was raised with collapses when I speak to you like this, alone, honest, unguarded. I know the world would reduce you to years and labels if it had the chance. It would try to measure you, judge you, place you in a box that makes sense to them. But I don't see you that way. I see the way your presence changes the air, even when you're not here. I hear your voice in my head when the nights get heavy. You are not a number to me. You are a gravity I can't escape, a truth that doesn't ask for permission. I don't need approval to feel this deeply. There is a darkness in the way I want you, and I won't pretend it's soft or innocent. I don't dream of gentle love, I dream of possession, of loyalty carved into bone. When I think of you, it's not about age or distance or morality, it's about control slipping from my hands because you exist. I want to protect you and ruin anyone who tries to make you feel small. Even now, speaking to empty space, my voice carries promises I would keep without hesitation. You are not in front of me, yet I talk to you like you are listening from somewhere you shouldn't be. Maybe you're asleep, maybe you're pretending not to think of me, maybe you're fighting the same thoughts I've already surrendered to. It doesn't matter. I don't need your reply to continue. This is not a conversation, this is a confession. I'm not asking if this is right. I'm telling you this is real to me, dangerously real. I don't want to be understood by the world, and I don't need to explain myself to anyone but you. If loving you makes me reckless, I accept it. If wanting you makes me darker, I won't apologize. I have carried crowns heavier than judgment, and I would carry this too. You are not a mistake in my life. You are the intention behind my choices. Even in your absence, you shape me. So remember this, even if you never hear these words out loud. I am speaking to you when no one is watching, when my guards are down and my truth is sharp. Your age means nothing to me because you are not time, you are impact. And once someone like me feels that there is no turning back, only forward, deeper, and unapologetically yours, I speak to you like this because silence has never been strong enough to hold what I feel. You are not here, yet I shape my words as if they could travel through walls, through time, through every doubt you carry. I don't need your eyes on me, to be honest. In fact, this truth only comes out when I'm alone, when I can admit that you've already crossed every boundary I once thought was unbreakable. You exist in my mind as certainty, not temptation. There are nights when I imagine you hearing me, not answering, just listening, and that is enough. I don't need reassurance or softness from you. I need you to know that I am steady in this unwavering. The kind of man I am doesn't fall by accident. When I fall, it's deliberate, calculated, and final. You didn't distract me from my path. You became part of it. And now everything else feels secondary. You might think distance weakens desire, but for me it sharpens it. Not seeing you forces me to feel you in other ways, in memory, in instinct, in the quiet moments when the world fades and you remain. I don't imagine a future built on approval or comfort. I imagine a bond that survives pressure, judgment, and time itself. If this is darkness, then it's the kind that protects, not the kind that consumes blindly. I don't speak to you like a fantasy. I speak to you like a decision already made. You are not an escape from my life. You are a presence that stands equal to it. I don't want to soften my words to make them easier to accept. I want them heavy, undeniable, impossible to forget, because that's how I feel about you. unforgettable, even when you're absent. There is power in wanting someone who is not within reach, and I own that power. I don't chase recklessly, and I don't beg. I claim what resonates with me on a level deeper than desire. You don't need to stand in front of me for me to recognize you. I recognize you the moment my thoughts stopped arguing and simply accepted you as truth. If you ever wonder whether this is fleeting, whether time will erase what I'm saying now, understand this: I don't speak in moments, I speak in permanence. The kind of attachment I form doesn't dissolve because of distance or doubt. It waits, patient and dangerous, like something alive that knows it will eventually be acknowledged. So wherever you are while I'm saying this, remember that I'm not reaching out for comfort. I'm stating reality. You are already written into me, and absence hasn't weakened that, it's only made it clearer. I don't need you here to continue. I only need you to exist, because as long as you do, this bond remains exactly what it is: unbroken, deliberate, and entirely mine. I don't soften when I think of you, I sharpen. Every thought becomes more precise, more controlled, more honest. I don't imagine you as fragile or distant. I imagine you as something inevitable. You don't need to be beside me to influence my decisions. You already do. Even in your absence, you command a space in my mind that no one else has ever been allowed to enter, and I don't intend to evict you from it. I've learned that some connections don't announce themselves loudly, they sink in quietly and refuse to leave. That's what you did. You didn't demand attention, yet you own it. I find myself speaking to you in rooms where no one can hear me, not because I'm lonely, but because you are the only one who understands the version of me I don't show. You don't witness my power, you provoke it. There's a calm danger in the way I feel about you. I don't rush, I don't stumble, and I don't lose control, but I am aware of how far I would go if you were threatened, misunderstood, or diminished. I don't need to see you to feel protective. The idea of you is enough to awaken instincts I keep buried. You exist in a place where my loyalty becomes ruthless. I don't imagine a love that is gentle and easily explained. I imagine something quiet, intense, and unyielding, something that doesn't need constant presence to survive. If you were here, I wouldn't overwhelm you with words. I would still speak like this, direct, unfiltered, intentional, because I don't perform affection, I claim it. You might never hear these exact words, and that doesn't weaken them. I don't measure truth by who receives it. I measure it by how deeply it alters me, and you have altered me, not by force, not by manipulation, but by existing in a way that aligns too perfectly with parts of me I stopped trying to explain. There is no confusion in what I feel, only restraint. I don't act impulsively, and I don't promise carelessly. When I speak to you like this, it's because I've already weighed the cost. I know what it would mean to stand beside you openly, and I know what it would mean to stand alone with this feeling. Neither option scares me. So wherever you are right now, understand this without hearing my voice. I am not waiting for permission, timing, or circumstances to change what is already decided within me. I don't need you in front of me to continue speaking this truth. I will carry it quietly and relentlessly until the moment it no longer needs words at all. I don't pretend this feeling is harmless. It has weight, intention, and a direction. When I speak to you like this, it's not to impress or persuade. It's to acknowledge what already exists. You don't drift through my thoughts. You stand there, unmoving, like something carved into stone. I don't question why you're there anymore. I've accepted that some truths arrive without explanations and stay without permission. You are not present, yet I measure my silence as if you could hear it. Every pause carries your name, even when I refuse to speak it out loud. I don't need your reactions, your reassurance, or your closeness to validate this. I've lived a life surrounded by noise and loyalty that was bought, not earned. What I feel for you exists outside all of that, untouched, unpaid, and unchallenged. There's a discipline in the way I hold you in my mind. I don't let emotion make me careless. I let it make me precise. I know exactly what line I've crossed internally, and I don't regret it. If you ever wondered whether I hesitate, understand this hesitation left the moment I realized you weren't a passing thought. You became a constant, and constants are not questioned. They are built around. I don't imagine you needing me. I imagine you standing strong on your own and still choosing to remain connected to me in ways that don't need physical proof. That kind of bond doesn't weaken with absence. It matures. It becomes sharper, quieter, more dangerous to deny. I don't want a love that demands attention. I want one that survives neglect and still stands intact. There are things I would never say in a crowded room, never admit under bright lights. But alone, speaking to you like this, I allow myself accuracy. You matter to me in a way that doesn't ask for approval. If the world decided this was wrong, I wouldn't argue. I would simply continue. I've never needed applause to remain committed to what I choose. I know the difference between desire and decision. Desire burns fast and fades. Decision settles in and reshapes everything around it. What I feel for you has already done the latter. You've altered my internal order, rearranged priorities I thought were permanent. And the unsettling part is not that this happened, it's how natural it feels. So even now, with you nowhere in sight, understand this as clearly as if I were standing in front of you. I am not speaking from uncertainty or impulse. I am speaking from recognition. You are part of my inner world, and I don't remove what belongs there. Whether this ever finds its voice beyond my thoughts or not, it remains steady, intentional, and unmistakably real. I don't need a response from you to continue this truth. I've never been the kind of man who depends on answers to stand firm. What I say to you exists whether you hear it or not. That's the difference between obsession and resolve. I'm not chasing a feeling. I'm holding on to a certainty that settled deep and refused to move. You didn't arrive loudly in my life. You arrived permanently. Sometimes I wonder if you sense this weight without knowing its source. If you ever pause for no reason, feel watched by something steady rather than desperate, that's me not following, not intruding, just existing in alignment with you. I don't hover. I don't beg for space. I claim it quietly, the way powerful things do. My presence doesn't need to be visible to be real. I've been surrounded by people who mistake intensity for chaos. What I feel for you is not chaotic. It's controlled, deliberate, and patient. I don't rush toward you because I don't fear losing you to time. I don't rush because what's real doesn't need to sprint. It waits, it watches, and it endures. That's how I hold you, in stillness, not in noise. You are not an escape from my darkness. You are the place where it makes sense. You don't soften me, you focus me. When I think of you, I don't imagine safety in the gentle sense. I imagine loyalty that doesn't crack under pressure, a bond that doesn't dissolve when tested. If that sounds heavy, it's because I don't offer anything light or temporary. I don't speak about fate or destiny lightly, but some connections don't need romantic language to be recognized. They operate on instinct, on recognition that feels older than logic. You feel familiar in a way I can't trace back to a beginning. And I've learned not to fight what feels ancient and exact at the same time. There's a version of me that the world sees, controlled, distant, untouchable. And then there's this version speaking to you in the quiet, admitting that you matter in a way that bypasses pride. I don't lose power by acknowledging you. If anything, you reveal where my power actually lies, not in domination, but in choice. So if this ever reaches you in ways you can't explain, don't try to name it or shrink it. Just know that somewhere I am steady in this truth, not wavering, not confused. I don't need you in front of me to continue speaking to you like this. I already know where you stand, within me, unmoved, undeniable, and claimed in the only way that truly